Hello guys, happy quarantine and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing a book review. I haven't done one in a while, not because I haven't been reading. Well, I haven't been reading as much as I used to, but I have not felt like doing a review of any book I've read until now. So today I'm going to be reviewing a book that I read on Scribd. The title is Girl Stop Apologizing by Rachel Hollis, I think. Yeah, that Scribd is a reading app that you can download to read any kind of book, both audio and like soft copy books. And they are offering a 30-day free period. It's usually free, like when you sign up the first 30 days is free and then you start paying. I've been using them for a very long time, I think since 2016 or 15. A colleague of mine, a friend and a colleague of mine introduced me to it, and I've been using it since then. But during this quarantine period, they are offering free 30-day period, so you don't have to pay to read. So I've been reading a lot on the app, so that's where I read this book from. So I don't have the hard copy, but you can always get it on Scribd. So that's the book I'll be reviewing today, Girl Stop Apologizing. I'm going to skip the author part, like, because I don't know who the author is. I've never heard of her until I stumbled on the book title on Scribd, and I really liked the title, and I guess that the book would be interesting as well, and it really was. So I'm just going to skip the part about the author because I really don't know her and what she does, and so we're just going to go straight into the book. I really loved reading this book from start to finish. Like, it was really captivating from start to finish, and I loved reading every single word, every single chapter of the book. Yes, it's a self-motivational book. I know a lot of people don't like reading self-motivational books. I didn't used to like to read them, but I enjoyed reading this one because it's not one of all those aspire to perspire kind of books with no practical examples to actually apply the knowledge to. With this book, she used her personal life experiences. So with every principle that she was writing about, she was using her own personal experiences and how it has worked for her so far. So it was actually very easy to like look for ways to incorporate those principles into your own life. So it's a very good book, especially for females. Like, the book is female centered. I think she's a feminist. It's really obvious in the book. The book has her personality written all over it, and it wasn't really difficult to like get into it and enjoy it. So I'm going to be sharing 5 things that resonated with me the most while I was reading this book. I obviously got more than 5 things from reading it, but I'm just going to be summarizing most of it into 5 points, beginning with the first one. Whether we accept or deny it, there are childhood experiences, traumas that has stuck with us through life. There are things that we experienced while we were much younger that has greatly influenced the way that we are now. And for some people, the experiences were not that bad, which means like they did not have like long-lasting traumas that they now have to deal with now that they are adults. But for others, it was quite traumatic and left them with like long life issues that they now have to be sorting out as adults. So it might not be like a big trauma like abuse or anything like that. It's not, sometimes it's not really huge, sometimes it's like very little experiences. And in the book she explained that for females it's just like the way that we were raised, for example. So I'll be using like an African setting as an example because that's like my own reality. So for most females who grew up African, like there are certain ways that we were raised that right now we are kind of unlearning. So there are certain things that you are not supposed to do as females. There's a certain way, certain things that you're supposed to aspire to as female. There were things that you would do and you would get frowned at because a girl is not supposed to be doing that, or a girl is not supposed to be this way. You're not supposed to aspire to be certain things. You're not supposed to say certain things. You're supposed to be a certain way, and if you are not that way, it means that you're not a proper lady. So they're like the teachings that formed us, and for some of us, we stuck to that teaching. It made us limited in the way that we think. It made us limit like the things that we want for ourselves. Sometimes like we cannot even imagine thinking of like big things because we have been taught to like think small, you know, think in such a way that you are not above the person that is going to marry you. Think in such a way like you can aspire to be big, just as long as like you are still in the position where a man will find you attractive. Don't dream to be too rich in such a way that you will scare men away. Don't be too educated so that like you will not pursue prospective suitors. Those kind of experiences, those are the kind of teachings that we grew up to, and consciously or unconsciously it kind of formed us, because like that was like your formative years. So your childhood, teenage years, university, those were your formative period, and because you were still under the care of maybe your parents or your guardians and they formed you in that way, consciously or unconsciously you kind of molded your life to fit that box and the standard that they have set for you. So whether we like it or not, there are childhood experiences that have kind of formed us, and for me what this made me do was to kind of re-evaluate what are the choices that I have chosen for myself. Is this something that I would still choose if you remove like my family, my friends, society, if you remove all this judgment? Is it the same choice that I would still take? Is this really what I want to do? And if it wasn't, I would re-evaluate it. So right now I'm being conscious of not living my life the way that's pleasing to society. I'm trying to not how do I put this, disregard my own feelings, my own wants, my own desires, just to fit what is appropriate for others, if you get what I mean. So that is one thing that I took away from this book, that there are certain things that I need to unlearn, there are certain things that I need to re-evaluate. And if you look into your own life as well, you would find interesting discoveries. And if your choices are really your choices, that's like one motivation to keep pushing. The second thing that I took away from reading this book is that your priorities are personal. Like what you consider important is personal to you. What is important to you might not be what another person considers as important, because we all have separate journeys. Our journeys are not the same. So like what we consider important at each level of our journey is different. So if you're feeling some kind of pressure that you're supposed to be doing certain things at a certain time, then I think you should just dead it, because the truth is what is important to my best friend right now might not be important to me now. In the book she talks about trying to juggle all the things that are important in her life: her husband, her kids, her job, her faith. And for her it has been sort of like a challenge, because in the beginning she was trying to please everybody. So she would volunteer to chaperone her kids' extracurricular activities, even though she hated it, but because she did not want to be judged by other moms as being like a bad parent or something, she would do it. But at a point she realized that like their opinion does not really matter, so she decided what she wanted to be involved in and what she didn't want to be involved in. So she outlined the things that were important to her, and she decided how she was going to give herself in those situations, and chaperoning, which she hated, wasn't one of it, so she stopped doing that. And she made peace with the fact that sometimes she needs to prioritize like her work before her family, and vice versa. So she stopped beating herself up in times when she couldn't do certain things. So choosing for yourself what is important to you is really important. It might seem silly to other people, but to you, you understand why you are doing what you are doing at the time that you are doing it. So for your life it might not be juggling your husband, your kids, or your job. It might be something else, something totally different. But whatever it is, other people don't really need to understand why you are doing it. As long as you know why you are doing it and you are at peace with the decision that you are taking, then you are good. And if you're one of those people who blindly judge other people's decision, your attitude stinks and you need to fix it. Another thing I took away from this book is that your energy is important. That is to say, the people that you choose to surround yourself with is important. That is to say again, that the environment that you choose to exist in is very important. In the book she gave an example of her sister, or was it her sister-in-law, who was a teacher, because she was surrounded with kids who were not certain of what they wanted for their life, who were unsure of their position in the world. Like they were just uncertain people. And because her sister was always around these kids, that attitude kind of rubbed off on the sister. So the sister would act that way, like someone who was not confident in her ability, someone who was not sure of herself, who was uncertain about the position that she occupies in the world. So like you could tell that like she was having all these insecurities. But when the sister switched jobs and became a manager as like a high-end salon kind of thing, like the attitude changed, simply because in that establishment she was surrounded by like high class society lady who knew what they wanted, who were confident in themselves, who like understood the position that they occupy in the society, people who were confident. That attitude also kind of rubbed off on her, and the sister like became more confident. She expressed herself better. She was just like a better person altogether. So it just goes to show that like consciously or unconsciously, like the people that you surround yourself with, the environment that you exist, has like a huge impact in your life. And this is not a lie at all. If you look like in your circle of friends, you realize that at a point you guys will like think alike, you guys will act alike, you will say the same phrases, you know, like even though you would be your individual persons, your energy kind of rub off on like each other. So if you are in the midst of billionaires, if you're in the midst of like smart business minded people who have like serious business minded discussions, then you would learn to do that as well. You cannot be foolish and be like in their midst, because you want to belong, because you want to contribute, because you want to add value to that circle. You have no other choice but to improve yourself as well. And if you hang around like, you know, the opposite, you would also become like the opposite. You get what I mean? So if you are someone who wants to change the trajectory of your life, if you are someone who wants to grow, who wants to do better, then you need to look around your circle of friends. If you are the most successful, the smartest like in that circle, then you need to broaden your circle. I'm not saying you should drop your friends that like are not in the same level as you. That's not what I'm saying as well. The same way that you need to learn from somebody is the same way that they need to learn from you as well. So just broaden up your circle, so that as they are taking from you, you are taking from somebody else as well. Like you are always feeding yourself in such a way that you be of help to other people. So you are filling your cup so that when people draw out of it, you are still full, sort of. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but I hope I am. If you are looking to grow, if you are looking to achieve big things, then you need to start creating the environments that will enable you do that. Do not tone down your achievement for anybody. That's another thing that I took away from reading this book. Even though it might seem really big, that it scares the shit out of you, do not tone down your ambitions for anybody. And you might not be in a position where you can make it happen now. You might not have the skills, the resources you need to achieve it right now, but you can start from where you are. So there are skills that you probably need to achieve these things. What are those skills? How can you achieve them? Start from where you are. You don't have to keep putting it off. This is kind of like my next point, so I'm just going to skip this one and say it in the next one. There's nothing that you set your mind and your heart to that you cannot achieve. If you put in the work, you will get. In the book, she mentioned the 10-10-1 rule or principle, or whatever it is you want to call it. And what this simply means is like, where do you want to be in 10 years? What are the 10 dreams that would help you get there fast? And what is the one dream that you can turn into a goal right now? It's like an introspective sort of thing where you sit down and ask yourself the questions, write it down, and decide what you are going to focus on right now. That would help you get to where you need to get to in the time that you want to get there. The fifth and the final tip that I'm going to be sharing in this video, which I kind of mentioned in my previous tip, is to start now. There is no need to be putting off things. Start from where you are. Start with the things that you have. Start with the knowledge that you have. And if you feel that you are not expert enough to do the things that you want to do, there are skills that you can acquire. Most of, if not all of the skills that you need to be successful are not inherent. Like there are things that you can work towards. Like if you don't have any leadership qualities, for example, it is something that you can practice on. If you are not disciplined, it's something that you can work there's nothing that you cannot learn, and we've seen proof time and time again that hard work and consistency beats talent all the time. So even if you are talented at something, if you don't work at it, if you don't practice, if you don't work to hone your skills, you would not be as good as someone who has been consistent, like who has put in the work and continues to put in the work in order to be that thing. So hard work beats talent all the time. So work towards it. Start now. No need to put things off. Just start where you are, and if you need help, ask. Like, you'll be amazed at the amount of help that is available to you only if you ask. If you don't ask, then nobody knows where to help you from. If you have like genuine friends and family, when you ask for help, even though they are not in a position to help, they would direct you to someone or a place that you can get help from if they have the avenue to. So always ask for help when you need it. That's it for this video, guys. I would like to know, a lot of us have like free time now with the whole quarantine thing. So if you are reading, let me know in the comment section what your current read is. I would love to know. I'm also looking for books to read as well, so leave your current read in the comment section. Also, let me know if you have any questions about anything that I said in this video, and I'll try to explain as much as I can in the comment section as well. Just let me know anything that's in your mind. Just leave it in the comment section. Let's have a ball in the comment section. If this video helps you, then it means that it will help somebody else. So please share my video with your friends, your family, your enemies, across the social media platforms. Just share and help me grow my YouTube channel, guys. Please, I need that growth. And until the next time I come to your phone screen or your computer screen or whatever screen you are watching this video on, please stay safe, practice good hygiene, wash your hands, in social distance, stay in your house, and just stay safe, guys. Stay safe so that we'll all survive this thing in one piece. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.